Hi, I'm John Harned with Epic Realty. Welcome to Video 2. Today, we are going to cover the first real step in your home search, getting absolutely clear on what you're looking for before we ever step foot inside a house. I know exactly what happens the moment you decide it's time to move. The natural instinct is to grab your phone, open up a real estate app, and immediately see what's out there. But jumping straight into looking at hundreds of houses without a concrete plan actually makes the process much harder. It creates instant sensory overload. When you browse without strict parameters, you wind up reacting to whatever random homes pop up in your feed, rather than searching with actual purpose. The preparation steps we are about to discuss are the exact tools you need to gain real leverage in this market. Trading the thrill of browsing for structured preparation up front guarantees your clarity and emotional safety down the road. This diagram shows how every home search follows one of two distinct paths. You have the reactive loop on the top in red and the strategic progression on the bottom in blue and green. Let's look at that reactive loop. Step 1 is always the same. Open an app and indiscriminately hunt for appealing properties. Step 2 is checking the financial reality only after you've already fallen in love with a specific home. That leads directly to one of two outcomes. You either miss out on the property entirely or you severely overspend your actual budget. Now look at the strategic path. The absolute first step here is establishing concrete financial confirmation before anything else happens. From there, we define rigid criteria, and only then do we start actively touring matches. The reactive loop wastes weeks of your time chasing properties that don't fit, while the strategic path keeps you moving efficiently toward your actual goal. Doing this unglamorous upfront work is the reliable way to take an overwhelming market and turn it into a highly targeted, actionable set of options. Before we debate neighborhoods or look at a single floor plan, we have to finalize the absolute ceiling of your budget. If you plan to get a mortgage, this means securing a formal pre-approval letter. If you are paying cash, it means obtaining verifiable proof of funds from your bank. Whether you are financing or paying cash, locking this in is mandatory. Your budget shouldn't be a guessing game while we are trying to narrow down your options. I know gathering financial documentation requires some upfront effort and patience on your end. It requires a bit of heavy lifting. But this step gives you incredible psychological safety. It guarantees you will only ever look at homes you can actually acquire. Your financial baseline acts as the foundational guardrail. It protects you from wasting your weekends touring unqualified properties. Once your financing is completely confirmed, we will sit down together and establish your specific price range boundaries and location preferences. This checklist builds your search filter. We lock in financing, price, and location. Then we divide features into must-haves and nice-to-haves. Must-haves are non-negotiable requirements. Without them, we don't schedule tours. Nice-to-haves are flexible. They add value, but missing one won't break a purchase decision. Separating these two categories takes a confusing, miles-long wish list and turns it into a highly efficient, objective filter for the market. Forcing these difficult compromises right now entirely prevents choice paralysis and stressful debates later when you are actually standing inside a property. Because of this, I'm going to ask you to completely hold off on scrolling Zillow or other listing sites until we have our in-person criteria conversation. I get it. The temptation to ignore this advice and casually look at houses on your phone is incredibly strong. The danger of premature browsing is that it forces you to evaluate homes based on superficial marketing photos rather than your own clearly defined needs. This creates a false sense of urgency. You wind up reacting to random inventory hitting the market instead of executing a purposeful search. Holding off on the apps keeps your mind clear. In a competitive market, your objectivity is your absolute greatest asset. Giving up the immediate entertainment of casual browsing ensures that every single home you eventually evaluate perfectly serves your true strategic interests. Ultimately, a successful home search is defined by looking at the right homes, not by touring the highest volume of homes. This scorecard outlines the two pillars we've established so far: getting your financing confirmed and ruthlessly defining your criteria. Whether you are an anxious first-time buyer or an experienced homeowner looking for maximum efficiency, this rigid preparation phase works exactly the same way. In our next video, we will look at the right side of the board and discuss what happens once we start touring homes together, including a concept I call the rolling top 3. If any questions come up while watching this, write them down. We will go through everything in detail when we sit down together in person. I'm here to help build that plan. Feel free to reach out using the contact information on your screen, and I'll see you next time.